The CME getting in on the Bitcoin action. In a change of policy, the world's biggest exchange owner announced it plans to introduce Bitcoin futures by year end. The cryptocurrency jumped on the news, reaching an all-time high of more than $6,400.
Hey, John, man, been a busy week. It's November 1st, and we've been talking about doing this Bitcoin thing for a while, but it's just exploding now with the, today's news, we were going to talk about the CME doing this, futures contract, and now we've got Powell, and then you've got something good to talk about that nobody else is talking about in Bitcoin land. Anyway, let's start with the CME.
Let's start there, Andrew. So, we've had numerous conversations. Many of you know that I've been traveling for the CME, and I was just over in London speaking to a great group of active traders, some of them the most active traders through Saxo Bank, a large securities and futures firm based in Amsterdam. But boy, they're all over the place. China just bought a controlling interest, if not the whole firm. And Saxo is going to be a company you hear a lot about. But part of why I was over there, Andrew, were the ICOs, which are, of course, initial currency offerings, as well as Bitcoin and blockchain. And just as you say, yesterday, we heard that, of course, the CME group was announcing that by the fourth quarter, they believe they will have a futures contract on Bitcoin. Wow.
That's insane. I mean, this means guys like you that have been
practically explode.
Yeah, guys like you that have been in the market for 36 years that can get, because it's a little difficult for guys like us, seasoned traders, to get our heads around something like the Bitcoin when there's no product like a future around it, which is how we hedge our portfolios on a regular basis.
Yep.
How killer is this?
Oh,
how excellent. I don't know.
Yeah, it really is. It's fantastic. Obviously, it's an endorsement of the technology of the coin itself. But there are a lot, and those of you who are active crypto traders know that there are a lot of cryptos out there. Whether it's Vertcoin, V-E-R-T, or whether it's Ripple or Ethereum, Ether, you name it. There are literally hundreds of them. Some of them will absolutely crash and burn, Jamie Dimon's point, and some of them can make people a small fortune. Or if you trade them wrong, could make a big fortune, a small fortune. So you got to be right about these things. But you also have to be smart. The fact that the CME is getting into the space and going to have futures trading on Bitcoin means we're going to see the ETFs will have a proliferation of ETFs because of this, Andrew. And obviously these ICOs are exciting to me and to you because you and I have people coming to us all the time now saying, I got to get word out about my ICO, my initial currency offering. And you and I, we're going to be working with Monaco growth forums and so forth to get news out about this.
All right. Before we get to that, okay, did you know about this CME announcement? You knew it earlier in the week though, right? But you couldn't.
I'd been in big discussions with several people at the CME. But they kept it very close to their vest. They didn't leak out that this was going to come at all.
But they asked you a lot of questions.
They asked me a ton of questions after our trip. We did a debriefing. And then on Monday, we were just going on and on about this. Tuesday morning, they said, watch your tape at 8:30. And sure enough, 8:30 Chicago time, it hit. And Terry Duffy, the CME's chairman, has been on virtually every media since then.
I think it's a lot different than some of the naysayers that are talking about cryptocurrencies and the way they trade today, who trades them, what they're being used for. So ours will be on a regulated platform overseen by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. It will be under our risk controls that we have in place here at CME. So we have our margin rules in place. We'll have our functionality with our electronic systems in place. And then, of course, our clearing mechanism. Those are all things that are completely different than the way the cryptos are traded today. And we will have an index that, we feel that will be very, very credible and will reflect the true value of that price. So that's why we're excited about this product and the launch of it.
Also things this weekend, you have Bill Miller, the former wonder trader from Legg Mason. he's up 72% this year. And he said, a third of my portfolio is Bitcoin. Yes. So, I mean, if you've got a guy like Bill Miller, if you've got people like me and you that are active users of futures and options as well as stocks, and all of a sudden we're all on this thing, I think it's about to get real. It's a lot to take in for a lot of people, but that's why we'll have this back and forth on our channels so that people that want to learn more about it can learn more about it.
Okay, so we don't have any details on this, the contract yet, but we will. That's why they need to subscribe and come back to this. Now, the other news that dropped today, that was just yesterday. Yep. Today's news is that Trump might be picking a new chairman of the Fed tomorrow, Powell. And he, at CNBC, where you are, well, you're at the NASDAQ, but you work at CNBC, Evelyn Chang wrote an article about maybe Powell's not friendly to Bitcoin. I mean,
we'll have to see. I mean, you know, I think a lot of people, Andrew, are talking about Bitcoin and whether or not it's the survivor or in the winner. Certainly, it is to to many people who've been in since it was pennies, and now it's over $6,500 to the Bitcoin. But there are things about Bitcoin itself that may mean that a competitor, Ethereum, Ether, Vertcoin, I mean, a whole bunch of these could be very real competitors to Bitcoin because they're easier to trade. In some cases, for other reasons that you and I will discuss later. But, you know, whether Powell or anybody else, for instance, would choose to say, can't trade it, can't use it, whatever, I don't think you can stop it. I mean, it's got a life of its own now. And unless they basically say you're a criminal if you use it, this thing is going to keep growing. You can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Yeah.
We have many of these cryptos still out there. And by the way, Amazon.com.
I know, this is great.
3 new cryptocurrency websites for Amazon. They registered them. We noticed it today. I don't know if they registered them yesterday or last week, but we saw it today. And that's just speaking all the more to, if you have a place like Amazon taking coins, whether it's Bitcoin or some other perhaps in the future, if you have that happening, that's a further endorsement, just like the CME's endorsement, just like the CBOE's endorsement of the technology and of it as an asset class.
Okay. And then just so that we can end this, because I know you're busy, are you you're not going on the show right now, are you?
No,
okay.
I am going out to an awards dinner tonight, and then I've got a business meeting after that.
Okay, you have to see if there's any intel on the ground at the awards party on the Bitcoin out there.
All right.
Tomorrow, you're interviewing 3 people.
At least 3. As many as 5, but at least 3 people who are part of their initial currency offerings, the ICOs. We'll be doing it here at the NASDAQ. We'll be interviewing 3 of them at least, and I think it may be as many as 5 now, Andrew.
Wow.
And we'll describe what they do, who they are, what the coins are going to be called, and so forth, because they're in their ICO phase, just stepping into it. So if you're a stock trader and used to IPOs, that's something, of course, that prices all at once and then trades. An ICO is a little different. We'll get into that and explain it all to you.
So it'd behoove you, if you're out there watching this, to subscribe to NajarianTV.
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna try and get stuff up every day because it's moving so fast, But you want to subscribe because we're going to put out the first information here, and we also have other videos on regular trading stocks. But we're definitely going to be hitting this Bitcoin, blockchain, ICO news here in the future. So hit the like button and subscribe, and then you'll get these informations every day. But have a good time tonight at the awards dinner.
Thanks, Andrew. Have a great one.